Before we dive into today's topic, I want to tell you about something that's changed how I approach pigeon health and performance. I run another channel called Pigeon Healthy where I share natural herbal treatment methods that most fanciers have never heard of. We're talking about plants and natural remedies that have powerful healing and performance-enhancing effects on pigeons. Things like specific herb combinations that boost immunity, natural treatments for respiratory diseases, plants that improve digestion and recovery after races, and natural alternatives to chemical medications. We cover pigeon diseases you might be struggling with right now: canker, respiratory infections, coccidiosis, worms, and show you exactly how to treat them using natural methods that actually work. No guessing. No expensive medications with side effects. Just proven herbal protocols used by top European lofts. If you're serious about keeping your birds healthy naturally and improving their performance without chemicals, go subscribe to Pigeon Healthy right now. The knowledge there could save you birds, save you money, and give you an edge your competition doesn't have. Now let's get into today's topic. Saturday morning. You drive 3 hours to pick up 2 young birds from a champion breeder. You've been planning this purchase for months. Saved the money. Researched bloodlines. Found the perfect birds. National winner genetics. €500 each. €1,000 total investment. You arrive at the breeder's loft. The birds look spectacular. Perfect feathering. Bright eyes. The breeder shows you their parents, their siblings, their race records. Everything confirms these are quality birds. You pay. The breeder catches the birds, places them in your transport box. You drive home carefully. 3 hours back. You arrive at your loft. You place the birds in their new section. They look around curiously. They find the water. They drink. They find the feed. They eat a little. Everything seems perfect. You're excited. These birds will be the foundation of your racing program. Day 2 Sunday. You check the birds morning and evening. They're eating well. Drinking normally. They're perched comfortably. They seem to be settling in. No problems. Day 3 Monday. Same story. Birds look great. Active and alert. Eating and drinking normally. You're relieved. The transition went smoothly. These birds are adapting well. Day 4 Tuesday morning. You notice one bird is slightly less active. Not dramatically sick, just quieter than the day before. Sitting more. Flying around the loft less. You're not too concerned. Maybe it's just tired from adjusting. Day 5 Wednesday. The quiet bird is now clearly not well. Feathers are slightly fluffed. It's sitting in a corner. It ate very little this morning. The other bird still seems okay but also less energetic than days 1 through 3. Day 6 Thursday. The sick bird is much worse. Feathers fully fluffed. Eyes half closed. It won't eat. Crop is empty. Droppings are watery. You panic. You call the breeder. He says the bird was perfectly healthy when it left. You call a vet. Earliest appointment is Friday. You try to get the bird to drink. It refuses. You're terrified you're going to lose a €500 bird. Day 7 Friday morning. You walk into the loft. The bird is dead on the floor. You're devastated and furious. The bird was healthy when you bought it 4 days ago. The breeder sold you a sick bird. You consider demanding a refund. Meanwhile, the other bird is now showing symptoms. Fluffed feathers. Reduced appetite. You rush it to the vet. The vet examines it. Diagnoses: severe canker and coccidiosis. Starts aggressive treatment. The bird survives but takes 3 weeks to recover. By then it's lost condition and training time. Your €1,000 investment produced 1 dead bird and 1 sick bird that required expensive veterinary intervention. This story repeats thousands of times every year. Fanciers buy birds. Birds die within 7 days. Usually day 6, 7, or 8. The timing is so consistent it has a name among experienced fanciers. The 1-week death. The 7-day killer. New bird syndrome. Whatever you call it, the pattern is the same. Healthy bird at purchase. Sick bird by day 5 or 6. Dead or nearly dead by day 7. The fanciers blame the sellers. The sellers insist the birds were healthy. Everyone is confused and angry. But the truth is usually neither party is at fault. The bird was healthy when sold. The fancier's loft conditions are fine. The problem is an unavoidable physiological process triggered by the stress of relocation. Today I'm teaching you exactly what the 1-week death is, why it happens, and the prevention protocol that reduces death rate from 40 to 60% down to under 5%. The 1-week death is caused by stress-induced immune suppression that activates dormant infections. Let me break down this process step by step. Every pigeon carries multiple latent pathogens. Trichomonas parasites that cause canker. Coccidia parasites in the intestines. bacteria like E. coli and mycoplasma in the respiratory system. These pathogens live in the bird's body without causing obvious disease. Why? Because the bird's immune system suppresses them. The immune system recognizes these pathogens and keeps their populations low enough that they don't cause symptoms. The bird appears healthy. It functions normally. But the pathogens are there waiting. When a bird experiences severe stress, the stress response alters immune function. Stress hormones, primarily cortisol, are released. Cortisol is essential for short-term stress management. It mobilizes energy. It sharpens focus. It prepares the body for fight or flight. But cortisol also suppresses immune function. This makes evolutionary sense. If you're running from a predator, your body prioritizes immediate survival over long-term health maintenance. Immune function is expensive energetically. During acute stress, the body temporarily shuts down immune responses to redirect energy to survival functions. The problem occurs when stress is prolonged. If cortisol stays elevated for days, immune suppression becomes severe. White blood cell production drops. Antibody levels decrease. The immune system's ability to recognize and control pathogens is dramatically impaired. Now the latent pathogens that were suppressed by normal immune function start multiplying. Trichomonas populations explode in the throat and crop. Coccidia multiply in the intestines. Bacteria colonize the respiratory tract. Within days, these organisms reach levels that cause disease symptoms. The bird becomes sick not because it caught new infections but because infections it always had were activated by stress-induced immune collapse. This is why the timing is so consistent. Day 1, stress begins with capture, transport, and introduction to new loft. Cortisol spikes. Day 2 and 3, cortisol remains elevated as bird adjusts to unfamiliar environment. Immune suppression deepens. Pathogen populations start growing but haven't reached disease-causing levels yet. Day 4 and 5, pathogens have multiplied enough to cause symptoms. Bird starts showing signs of illness. Day 6 and 7, disease is overwhelming. Bird is severely sick or dying. The 7-day timeline reflects how long it takes for stress to suppress immunity enough and for dormant pathogens to multiply to disease levels. Now here's the critical insight that most fanciers miss. The diseases aren't new infections the bird caught after arriving at your loft. They're old infections the bird already had that were activated by stress. This means the seller wasn't lying when he said the bird was healthy. At his loft, the bird was healthy. The pathogens were present but suppressed. You didn't give the bird an infection. Your loft isn't contaminated. The bird brought its own pathogens with it, and the stress of moving activated them. Once you understand this mechanism, you can prevent it. You can't eliminate the stress of relocation. Moving to a new loft is inherently stressful. But you can support the bird through the stress period and prevent pathogen activation through prophylactic treatment. Let me give you the complete prevention protocol that reduces 1-week death from 40% to under 5%. This protocol has 3 phases: pre-arrival preparation, immediate arrival management, and the critical 7-day window. Each phase is essential. Skipping any phase dramatically increases death risk. Pre-arrival preparation starts before you even pick up birds. You must have proper facilities and supplies ready. First requirement is quarantine space. New birds cannot go directly into your main loft with your existing flock. They must be isolated for minimum 2 weeks, ideally 4 weeks. This protects your existing birds from any diseases the new birds might be carrying, and it provides the new birds with quiet, low-stress environment to recover from relocation stress. Quarantine space can be a separate small loft, a large cage, or a partitioned section of your main loft with solid barrier preventing contact between new and existing birds. The space needs perches, feed and water access, and protection from weather. It doesn't need to be elaborate. Simple is fine. What matters is complete separation from existing flock. Second requirement is preventive medications or natural treatments ready before birds arrive. You must have these on hand the day you bring birds home. Don't wait to see if birds get sick then try to find treatment. By the time symptoms appear, the disease is already advanced. Prevention is exponentially more effective than treatment. 4. Pharmaceutical approach. You need metronidazole for canker prevention and amprolium for coccidiosis prevention. Buy these from vet or online pigeon supply before pickup day. 4. Natural approach. You need garlic extract or oregano oil for general pathogen suppression, and probiotics for gut health support. These are available at health food stores or online. Have proper dosages calculated and supplies measured before birds arrive. Third requirement is electrolyte solution prepared. Relocation stress causes dehydration and electrolyte imbalance. Electrolyte water for the first 24 to 48 hours helps birds recover from transport stress faster. Mix electrolyte powder according to package directions or make your own with 1.5 grams of sea salt plus 1 tablespoon honey per liter of water. Phase 2 is immediate arrival management on day 1. When you arrive home with new birds, resist the temptation to show them to everyone, handle them repeatedly, or integrate them immediately with existing birds. Every additional stressor increases cortisol and worsens immune suppression. Your goal is minimize stress during the most vulnerable window. Place birds directly into prepared quarantine space. Handle them only enough to transfer them from transport box to quarantine. 30 seconds maximum. Then leave them alone. Provide water first. Use the prepared electrolyte water, not plain water. Electrolytes help restore physiological balance after transport stress. Don't provide food immediately. Wait 2 to 4 hours. Birds that are stressed often won't eat anyway, and putting food in front of them creates pressure. After 2 to 4 hours, provide small amount of feed. 10 to 15 grams of wheat or peas. Light, easily digestible grains. No corn or oil seeds yet. The digestive system is stressed and needs gentle reintroduction to feeding. After initial placement, leave the birds completely alone until evening. No checking on them. No visitors. No handling. Your presence creates alertness, which is stress. The birds need to be left in quiet darkness to begin calming down. Evening of day 1, check briefly. Are birds eating and drinking? Are they perched normally? Quick visual assessment only. No handling. If everything looks reasonable, that's all you need. Don't try to intervene unless there's obvious emergency. Most problems that will develop are still days away. Evening of day 1 is too early to see them. Phase 3 is the critical 7-day window. This is where the prevention protocol actually prevents the 1-week death. On morning of day 2, begin prophylactic pathogen control. If using pharmaceutical approach, add metronidazole to drinking water at recommended dosage for canker prevention. Add amprolium to feed or water for coccidiosis prevention. Continue both medications for 5 to 7 days. These medications suppress trichomonas and coccidia populations, preventing them from multiplying to disease levels even if immune system is compromised by stress. If using natural approach, add crushed garlic or oregano oil to drinking water. Garlic contains allicin, which has broad-spectrum antimicrobial effects. Oregano oil contains carvacrol, which suppresses coccidia and bacteria. Use 1 crushed clove of fresh garlic per liter of water or 3 to 5 drops of oregano oil per liter. Continue for 7 days. Additionally, regardless of whether you use pharmaceutical or natural pathogen control, provide probiotics daily. Stress disrupts gut bacteria. Healthy gut bacteria are essential for immune function, nutrient absorption, and digestive health. Probiotic supplementation restores beneficial bacteria quickly. Use avian probiotic powder mixed into feed or water, or provide small amount of plain yogurt. 1/4 teaspoon of yogurt per bird daily for 7 days provides beneficial bacteria. Continue prophylactic treatment through day 7. This is the critical period when stress-activated disease would normally kill birds. By suppressing pathogens during this window, you prevent disease from developing even though immune system is temporarily compromised. On day 8, if birds are healthy, discontinue prophylactic treatment and transition to normal feeding and care. But maintain quarantine separation from existing flock for at least another week. By day 14, if birds have remained healthy, they can gradually be integrated with existing flock. The stress period is over. Immune function has recovered. Any latent pathogens are back under control. The danger window has passed. Now let me address why this protocol is necessary even when buying from reputable breeders. Some fanciers think if they buy from championship loft with excellent reputation, the birds will be disease-free and protocol isn't necessary. This is misunderstanding the biology. No loft is completely pathogen-free. Even the healthiest championship loft has birds carrying latent trichomonas, coccidia, and respiratory bacteria. These pathogens are essentially ubiquitous in pigeon populations. The difference between healthy and sick birds isn't presence versus absence of pathogens. It's immune control versus immune failure. At the champion breeder's loft, birds live in stable environment with low stress. Their immune systems function normally. Pathogens are suppressed to subclinical levels. Birds appear perfectly healthy because they are healthy in that environment. But they're carrying pathogens. When you buy one of these birds and move it to your loft, the stress activates those pathogens. This isn't the breeder's fault. There's no way to sell a truly pathogen-free bird. The breeder can't eliminate latent infections that don't cause symptoms. Your job as buyer is to manage the stress and prevent activation through prophylactic protocol. Blaming the seller is missing the point. The problem is the stress of relocation, not the bird's baseline health. Let me compare the American versus European approach to new bird introduction. American fanciers often don't use quarantine or prophylactic treatment. They buy birds, bring them home, put them directly in the loft with existing birds and hope for the best. If birds get sick, they treat reactively. If birds die, they blame the seller or bad luck. This approach has 40 to 60% loss rate in the first 2 weeks after purchase. It's wasteful and expensive. A fancier might buy 5 birds at €500 each. €2,500 investment. 2 birds die in the first week from stress-activated disease. 1 bird dies in week 2 from disease contracted from the first 2 sick birds. That's €1,500 lost from preventable deaths. The fancier is left with 2 survivors and bitter feelings toward the seller. European Championship fanciers use systematic protocols. Quarantine is non-negotiable. Prophylactic treatment is standard. When buying new birds, they assume the birds carry latent pathogens because all birds do. They assume relocation stress will challenge the bird's immune systems because it always does. They prevent problems before they develop through prepared protocols. Their loss rate in the first 2 weeks after purchase is under 5%. Usually under 3%. They buy 5 birds for €2,500. All 5 survive. All 5 become productive members of the breeding or racing program. The protocol cost €15 to €20 for medications and supplies. That €15 investment protected €2,500 worth of birds. The return on investment is obvious. Now let me teach you how to handle the situation if you didn't use the protocol and birds are now sick on day 5, 6, or 7. First, understand that treatment at this stage is much harder than prevention would have been. The disease is already advanced. The bird is already weakened. But treatment is still possible if you act immediately. Step 1. Identify what disease you're dealing with. Most common 1-week killer is canker. Check the bird's throat. Open the beak. Look at the back of the throat with flashlight. If you see yellow or white plaques or cheesy material, it's canker. Second most common is coccidiosis. Check the droppings. If they're watery with blood or just very watery with no blood but bird is lethargic and losing weight, suspect coccidiosis. Third possibility is respiratory infection. Listen to the bird's breathing. Clicking, wheezing, or rattling sounds indicate respiratory disease. Step 2. Start treatment immediately for whichever disease you identified. For canker, metronidazole is first choice. Dose per label directions for therapeutic treatment, not prevention dosage. For coccidiosis, amprolium therapeutic dose or sulfa drugs. For respiratory infection, antibiotics like enrofloxacin or doxycycline. These are prescription medications requiring veterinary supervision ideally. But if you can't reach a vet immediately and the bird is dying, you can obtain these medications online and treat empirically. It's not ideal, but it might save the bird. Natural treatments at this stage are less reliable because disease is already advanced. Garlic water and oregano oil might help mild cases, but severe cases need pharmaceutical intervention. Visit Pigeon Healthy channel for complete natural treatment protocols, but understand that prevention is always preferable to treatment, especially with natural methods. Step 3. Provide supportive care. Isolate the sick bird completely. Provide warmth, heat lamp or heated space to maintain 25 to 28 degrees Celsius. Sick birds can't thermoregulate well. External heat reduces metabolic demands. Provide electrolyte water. Force small amounts if bird won't drink voluntarily using syringe without needle. Dehydration kills birds faster than the actual disease sometimes. Don't force feed. Birds that are severely sick won't process food properly. Focus on hydration and medication. Once bird stabilizes and starts showing interest in food, offer small amounts of easily digestible grains. Step 4. Accept that even with aggressive treatment, severely sick birds might not survive. Disease that's allowed to progress to day 7 or 8 is often too advanced. Organ damage might be irreversible. The bird might die despite your best efforts. Don't interpret this as failure of treatment. Treatment was started too late. Prevention would have worked. Treatment might not. If bird does survive, understand it will need weeks to fully recover. Weight will be lost. Condition will be lost. Training timeline will be disrupted. The bird that you bought as ready-to-race youngster might not be raceable this season. Prevention would have avoided all of this. Let me end with cost-benefit analysis of prevention protocol. New bird purchased for €500. Prevention protocol supplies, metronidazole €10, amprolium €5, probiotics €5, electrolytes already on hand or €3, total prevention cost €23. Prevention success rate 95%. Expected value of prevention, €500 minus €23 times 0.95 equals €453 net expected return. Alternative scenario, no prevention protocol, €0 cost up front. 40% death rate. Expected value, €500 times 0.6 equals €300 net expected return. Plus veterinary costs if bird gets sick, another €50 to €100. Net expected return €200 to €250. The math is overwhelming. Prevention protocol costing €23 returns €453 expected value. No protocol costs 0 upfront but returns only €200 to €250 expected value after accounting for losses and vet costs. Prevention nearly doubles your expected return. Any rational economic analysis favors prevention. Yet 40 to 60% of American fanciers don't implement it. What? Partly ignorance. They don't understand the one-week death mechanism. Partly denial. They think their birds will be fine despite statistics. Partly false economy. They don't want to spend €20 on prevention. These fanciers lose €200 to €300 per bird purchased through preventable deaths. The penny-wise pound-foolish mistake costs them far more than prevention would have. If this video explained why your new birds died in the first week after purchase and how to prevent future losses, hit the like button. Subscribe for protocols that actually protect your investment in birds. Comment day 7 if you've experienced the one-week death personally. And visit Pigeon Healthy for complete treatment protocols for canker, coccidiosis, respiratory disease, every condition that kills birds during stress periods. Prevention stops disease before it starts. Treatment saves birds when prevention wasn't done. Learn both approaches and protect every bird you buy or breed. See you in next video.